Depending on whereabouts in the world you are right now, the chance of you being struck by lightning is pretty low. If you were in the US, for example, there's a 1 in 700,000 chance that you'll be struck by lightning within the next year, and the chance of you being hit throughout your entire lifetime is about 1 in 3,000. A lot of people think that getting struck by lightning is a death sentence, but it's actually quite rare to die from being hit by lightning. And one man knows this better than anyone else. That man is Roy Cleveland Sullivan, who is recognized by Guinness World Records as the person struck by lightning more recorded times than any other human being. Roy Sullivan lived a pretty normal life. He was born and raised in Greene County, Virginia in the US, and began his almost 50-year-long career as a park ranger in 1936 at the age of 24. He was based in Shenandoah National Park for the entirety of this century-long career, which clearly shows that the lightning strikes didn't put him off doing what he loved. Sullivan's first encounter with lightning came only 6 years after he started, when in 1942, he was stationed in a newly constructed fire lookout tower that was at the center of an enormous thunderstorm. Unfortunately, the tower had no lightning rods, and so was completely useless at stopping damage from incoming lightning bolts. Ironically enough, this led to the fire lookout tower catching fire, and Sullivan fled the tower to escape the fire, only to be struck by lightning. Sullivan describes his first strike as his worst, as it severely burned his right leg and foot. His second and third strikes happened within just a year of each other in July of 1969 and July 1970. His second strike happened while he was in his truck. The lightning hit a nearby tree and deflected through the window of the car. Sullivan's eyebrows, eyelashes, and hair were all set on fire, but didn't deal too much damage. He was, however, knocked unconscious. The third strike occurred while Sullivan was in his garden at home. This time, it was a power generator that was hit, from which the electricity jumped to his shoulder. Again, this did very minimal harm to him. It was after his fourth strike that he began to become incredibly weary of lightning, and so did other people when they were around him. His hair was once again set on fire while he was working at the ranger station in Shenandoah National Park. After the fifth strike in June of 1973, Sullivan was positive that nature was out to get him. He claimed that he saw the dark clouds above him and tried to drive away from them as fast as he could. As soon as he thought he'd escaped, he got out of his car only to be hit again. He claimed the lightning moved down his left arm and left leg and knocked off his shoe. It then crossed over to his right leg just below the knee and finally set his hair on fire. He quickly rushed to his car and poured water over himself. He kept this water there for this exact situation. The exact same thing happened almost 3 years later in 1976, yet this time the damage was less severe. Saturday, June 25, 1977 seemed to be the day that Zeus fired his final shots at Roy Sullivan, as this was the date of his seventh and final strike. And this was by far his worst. Because not only did he get struck by lightning, which set his hair on fire once again and seared his chest and stomach, but he was also the victim of a bear attack. Sullivan went out fishing when the lightning struck, and as per usual, he rushed to his car to get his emergency bucket of water, only to find a bear trying to steal fish from his line when he returned. He somehow managed to fend off the bear with a stick, which ended up working. And with that, Roy Sullivan's streak of bad luck had come to an end. Unfortunately, all of this had taken a mental toll on Sullivan. People didn't want to go near him for fear of being struck by lightning too. This led him to become awfully lonely at times, and with the constant injuries he was sustaining, he felt that the universe was treating him unfairly. Roy Sullivan died on 28 September 1983 at the age of 71 from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. It's saddening to see how something that may seem like a novelty to some had such a negative effect on someone. Although the lightning didn't give the final blow, it ended up being the death of him.